Yeah, well, let's get reaction. Governance expert Dr. Sam Koma joins us for analysis on the Government of National Unity and disagreements among partners. Dr. Koma, an interesting time for South Africa, isn't it? Right? For the very first time, you've got GNU partners, you've got an ANC that has always enjoyed a majority, and so where a budget vote is concerned, not really something that they're worried about. This time, though, a real concern. But what we've just heard from the two leaders, do you think, from your view, that consultation has been sufficient? And what is a sufficient consultation between GNU partners?
Yes, thanks, Naledi, for having me. Yes, so towards the end of the budget speech, Minister of Finance Enoch Godongwana, in passing, he made a passing remark. He said the budget has been agreed upon by the GNU partners that are part of the cabinet with minimal disagreements. Of course, if you read the actual budget speech, the remark he made is not inserted in the speech. So we assume that there was consultation that took place within cabinet, because he sits in cabinet. He has to, of course, present his proposals to his colleagues for consideration and also approval. But we know that at the end of the day, Parliament is constitutionally and legally empowered to pass money bills. So this is what the minister did today. He said in the delivery or presentation of the budget speech to say, I'm tabling key documents before the House. Two of those documents is the 2025 Division of Revenue Bill, which Mr. John Steenhuisen referred to in your intro, and the Revenue Laws Amendment Bill, which deals with tax proposals. So Division of Revenue Bill deals with equitable shares among the national, provincial, and local governments, including conditional grants. So the ball is now in the court of Parliament. This is the process Parliament will be engaging on after today. That is to refer these bills to the Committee on Finance, which is a committee of Parliament. That committee is given a period of 14 days to engage in public hearings and report again to the House. At the end of the day, Parliament is vested with the authority to make any amendments on these money bills. But Parliament has to take into account a number of factors. What would be the impact of these amendments on the tax revenues projected by the minister, for example? What would be the impact on issues of development, investment, for example, employment, and also economic growth? So in the next couple of days and weeks, this is what Parliament will be engaged on. And you can see that the battle now is going into Parliament. We are likely to see trade-offs because none of the parties represented in the National Assembly has secured a majority. For Minister Enoch Godongwana to have his budget proposal and these money bills approved, there should be a majority vote by members of Parliament present before such a matter is put on a vote. The ANC does not have that majority. The DA has taken a clear stance that it disapproves the budget, specifically on the issue of the VAT rate increase. The MK party has taken a hard line. The EFF has also taken a radical posture on this specific issue. So you now have a stalemate and also a deadlock among these key parties. That is the ANC, the DA, the EFF, and the MK party. Because at the end of the day, the ANC will need either the EFF or the DA to come on board to pass these money bills so that, of course, government can proceed with its business of course, responding, fulfilling the needs, aspirations, and interests of the broader members of the public.
Yeah, help me crunch the numbers here. And I know you may not have the exact numbers of each seat or all the seats that are held by the various political parties, but you say ultimately the ANC will need either the EFF or the DA for them to be able to pass through the bill and some of the amendments that you've then mentioned, right? Is that to say that within the government of national unity, outside of the Democratic Alliance, the IFP, Patriotic Alliance, PAC, that list of parties are going to be of no help to this mission for the ANC?
Yes, the ANC, even if it relies on the IFP, PAC, UDM, at the end of the day, your Patriotic Alliance will not take them to the majority vote. They require to have these money bills passed by Parliament. And that is the reason we are likely to see this engagement, lobbying, trade-offs taking place among these members of Parliament, among these parties represented in Parliament, to say, where can we reach a common ground? And as I said, the sticking point is around this tax proposal of the VAT rate increase. The other issues, they seem to be agreeing and not having much of opposition or objection to that. So let's see how the process unfolds. But the likely scenario is that the Minister of Finance, once Parliament concludes its business, he is likely to have a national budget with amendments made by Parliament. As I said earlier, Parliament is vested with this authority to make amendments. And now this is a new terrain. When he assumed his position in 2021 to end of May 2024, he enjoyed the majority support of his political party, namely the ANC. That situation is no longer obtaining. It's a different situation. He has to navigate, his party has to navigate this situation and also find support from other parties that are represented in Parliament. In the main, the DA, which is its coalition partner. If not the DA, secure support from the EFF, but the EFF has taken a clear posture.
Yeah.
They've pronounced that we are not going to support this budget with this element that has been provided for, which has to do with the VAT rate increase.
Yeah, I mean, to say that it's new terrain really just puts it into perspective, right? When you say that the likelihood is the finance minister may have to end up with a national budget that has amendments. So those amendments are still yet to come. Then my question becomes, how long is that going to take, right? And what does that do for governance, and certainly the the resources and money starting to trickle down into various areas of government where they are needed for the new financial year?
Yes, so the law provides that the Parliament may pass the appropriation bill after 4 months of the start of the new financial year. So by end of July 2025, that's when Parliament will have to conclude on the passing of the appropriation bill, which of course allows allocation of funds to the various state institutions or government institutions or public entities, your state-owned enterprises, to begin to spend the money allocated to these entities through the National Revenue Fund. So there's still some time around that, but for the appropriation bill to go through, it is also important that the revenue laws amendment bill, which is the tax proposals, has to be passed by Parliament, plus the division of revenue bill, which deals with equitable shares, your conditional grants. So these are two crucial bills. Once they pass through the handle, then of course the next bill will be the appropriation bill, which is about the spending. I don't see much difficulty among the parties to agree on that.
Yeah, you know, when the budget speech was postponed last month, the president is saying that what we're seeing in this taking place is what he called the maturation of our democracy. And I think about all of these moves that are now going to be taking place, this new terrain, as you call it so aptly. Is this good for democracy?
Yes, it is good. I mean, this is what is obtaining in the US at the moment. The whole talk about the US government facing a possible shutdown if Congress doesn't pass the spending bill. The spending bill is the appropriation bill, okay? But those parties that are sitting in Congress, they have to find one another, find a common ground, and it is now common cause that the Congress was able to pass the spending bill a few days ago. So this is the likely scenario we are likely to see in the next couple of weeks. As I said, trade-offs, consensus, and also compromise on some of these money bills, the division of revenue bill, and also the revenue loss amendment bill, but very important, agreeing on cost-cutting measures or spending cuts on, for example, some programs or some expenditure items. For example, the government is spending around 2 billion rand on the VIP protection of our public representatives. The question is, why is it expensive to protect our public representatives? These are the discussions, these are the tough policy decisions that Parliament will be seized with, and at the end of the day, I think they'll find one another.
All right. Yeah. Interesting times to be South African, that's for sure. Dr. Sam Koma, an absolute pleasure having you on the show with us. Of course, Dr. Koma is a governance expert.